Inki,
a music composer, sound artist and vocalist, known to her Icelandic parents and postman as
Ingibjörg Friðriksdóttir.
Passionate about pushing the boundaries of music composition to merge visual elements with music. In this short video, you will learn about her compositions. Quite the situation. 360 audio and video installation, an album release and bookwork, where a book becomes a piece of music, and a piece of music becomes a wordless conversation. Let's time travel back 80 years to the Second World War, when Iceland was occupied by the Allies. A love affair that wasn't only political, it was also deeply personal. Many Icelandic women were enamored by the handsome foreign soldiers, and the soldiers were more than ready to steal our women. These affairs were dubbed the situation, and the women, the situation ladies. Liaisons that gave birth to lasting relationships, children, and harassment. Newspapers were the Twitter of their time. People wrote articles voicing their opinions on current matters, and in World War II, a hot topic was the situation ladies and how they could be controlled. History, it is said, doesn't repeat itself, but often rhymes. These articles were penned 80 years ago based on values that their authors saw as threatened, ideas about the place and role of Icelandic women that had mostly stood unbudging for centuries, but which today seem oppressive and even repellent. Yet these are not glimmers from the dim past. Icelandic women had suffrage then. The struggle for equal rights, as we know it today, was underway. Doubtless it even seemed quite advanced, just as it seems today. But was it?
I asked 7 female musicians to record the music, each recorded separately so I would later be able to spread their voices around the space in the installation. Before each recording session, we read bits and pieces from the situation articles, and then discussed past and present, mirroring the present in a period of Icelandic history when women's private lives were under the microscope as never before. The music was supposed to sound a bit like a film score. Songs that would float into one another, take you on a journey, and bring you back home at the end.
In the Quite the Situation 360 installation, guests are invited into the work of art itself. Different media play together and form an experience across the senses, which is at once holistic and fragmentary, humorous but thought-provoking. The work is shown on a repeating loop that is about half an hour long, but guests are free to enter and leave as they please. The video work contains both new videos and rarely seen archived footage from World War II collected from the National Film Archive of Iceland. The bookwork is a part of the installation, but can also be brought home with the audience, expanding the work and conversation out of time and space. The book comes to life through augmented reality.
I designed the book like a composer writes music. In music, events happen on a vertical timeline. In the bookwork, sentences from the situation articles are now flowing vertically from page to page and rising in volume until they hit the silence. Then, rising again until the grand finale, 2 question marks in the center of the book where Icelandic and English meet.
Although rooted in Icelandic history, Quite the Situation joins a global conversation surrounding gender equality, highlighting the way female sexuality has historically been put under the microscope and continues to be. It is easy to laugh at past prejudices. It's much harder to distinguish tragicomic contemporary reality. How will the history of the present be regarded after 80 years? The musical composition where the beauty of nature is represented with a melodic, comforting, and almost romantic piano melody. However, there is an ever-growing threat. The music is slowly going underwater.
Make this a little bit more muddy, I think.
Oh, it's too clear.
It's too clear.
It was muddier last time.
Yeah, I like that it's kind of muddy and stuff.
Okay.
And then it evolves into this more.
But then you have to you give me a lot of control there. That's nice.
I like that you're in control or something.
I like that. What was fun there was that you realized what you were saying, and you kind of felt I just can't bring myself to say that sentence.
Pars Pro Toto focuses on the changes in Icelandic nature due to global warming. Changes that are overwhelming in magnitude, too complex and intertwined to dwell on. Therefore, I chose to focus only on one part of global warming, the melting of Icelandic glaciers. One factor is taken to represent the whole, or Pars Pro Toto. The glaciers are melting, a new landscape reveals itself. This happens slowly, much slower than humans react to danger. The new landscape is beautiful. This beauty numbs our senses, which makes it even harder to react. It isn't until the glaciers are gone that they will be missed.
The composition reaches a new layer of meaning through sound design and an accompanying video installation projected on walls around the listener. The videos change from a white space, slowly moving waves gradually filling with darkness, building on the aural illusion of being inundated by the submerged music coming from multiple speakers in the gallery. Slowly, the music moves more and more underwater until it is completely drowned.
Hulduorka,
a 25-minute composition for solo piano, inspired by the concept of cosmic acceleration, which is described as a force greater than gravity. The concept is considered one of the most significant unsolved mysteries in astrophysics. Astronomers have compiled evidence indicating that humans, animals, houses, planets, stars, galaxies, etc., which are all things we perceive as the universe, represent a mere 4% of what's actually out there. They use the term dark to describe the rest of its contents. This darkness possesses mysterious energy that behaves differently than all other energy. This energy is a property of space itself because it fails to dilute as space expands. As more space comes into existence, more dark energy appears. As a result, dark energy causes the universe to expand at an accelerating rate. However, dark energy is only a hypothesis. Maybe it doesn't exist.
In the composition Hulduorka, the sound-filled silences represent energy-filled space. The composition begins with a non-conventional use of the piano and is accompanied by long silences and limited sound palette. The gradual expanding of the sound vocabulary, register and rhythmic patterns is reflective of the accelerating rate of space expansion. This acceleration results in absolute assault on the piano. Brotabrot.
Stories of incarcerated people intertwined with a musical composition and light installation. Stories about imprisonment, crime, and criminals are a large part of today's entertainment industry, where the dark aspect of human life becomes a shining marketing product. After all, these stories arouse natural curiosity. From a secure distance, they are interesting and exciting, but for those closer to them, the entertainment value decreases. This is true for the Icelandic women's prison, a fortified house in the middle of the capital, so close and uncomfortable that it becomes invisible. part of the surrounding. The incarcerated people, on the other hand, heard the people pass by. The traffic, people on their way to the swimming pool, and children at the kindergarten next door.
They don't have nobody to talk to because everybody was into pill and drugs. You never know who you can trust. It was very hard to be around this kind of vibe and prison system.
The experience was fragmented. Sometimes the outside world existed, and other times it was silent. It didn't shine. But can you lend it a little shine?
Brotabrot means fractions in Icelandic. I'm blending original music, the environmental sound of the prison, and interviews with former incarcerated people into a danceable, hip-hop inspired audio installation that asks questions about the relationship between imprisonment and entertainment. Some of the interviews are in Icelandic, but others in English. I've translated the Icelandic ones.
The result is familiar, but at the same time foreign. A bleak reality and cloudy memory. Sort of like a small white house in the capital, surrounded by a barbed wire fence.